Mark, what made getting into the paint in the deep paint a challenge tonight, and where did you feel like maybe you guys had some opportunities that you weren't able to capitalize on?
Yeah, we weren't able to really get any offensive rhythm tonight for whatever reason. I thought there were a lot of possessions we were not very organized, which set you back at the beginning of the possession. Milwaukee did a great job. Obviously, they outplayed us the whole night. But obviously just wasn't our best night. But I thought our process let us down on a lot of plays.
And then just the human element tonight of something way bigger than basketball to see Nola out there. What's going through your mind and your heart as he stepped onto the floor for the first time?
Yeah, just thrilled for him. He's obviously been through a ton of adversity in his life in the last couple of years. He's a young guy that all he wants to do is play basketball, and that's been taken from him a couple different times. And so for him to work himself to this point, get himself on the floor is a great accomplishment. I loved watching the team respond to him both during and after the game. And I can't help but think of his family as well. You know, I have young kids at home, and it's pretty hard to even think about what his family's gone through as well. It hasn't just been him. He's got a wonderful family that loves him very much, that was through this with him the entire time. And so I'm thrilled for them, and certainly a really good feel-good night for his family, for him, and for our team, despite the fact that we didn't play our best game.
Would you tell your team you went 4-3 down the stretch these last 7 games or whatever, and obviously, I mean, disappointed about tonight, All-Star break. What'd you tell you guys?
I mean, to take advantage of break, you know, you don't get a break like this. The last time we had this kind of sustained break was before the season. And the next time you get this type of sustained break is after the season. So you got to just fill your tank however you need to do that. The guys have been around, most of them, so they understand what they need to do individually to get themselves mentally, physically, emotionally recharged for the stretch run. You know, so we trust them to handle their business in a way that best positions us as we come out of the break. But that's all.
Also, looked like you're going to make a little run. Chet had 3 points. He gets, like, I think, 12 down the stretch, gets a block, rebound, starts the second half. Let's talk about his game.
Yeah, I mean, we made a little bit of noise at different times. End of the first half, I thought we did a good job of stringing together stops, which we hadn't done well. We gave up 67 points in the first half, but the last group, you know, gave us a good little lift there. And then we cut into the lead a little bit early and just couldn't get any traction in the game. So credit Milwaukee. They came in here and obviously outplayed us the majority of the game. We did try to fight back in the game a couple different times, and they held us off. They made plays.
What are your thoughts on the season as a whole? You guys have had lots of different guys in and out of the lineup. I feel like it's maybe been hard to just catch like a general rhythm. Not that that's exactly what happened tonight, but just like how has this season felt compared to like the last couple?
They're all different, you know, that going in, you know, so I don't really compare. I think the last from, you know, we started 24-1. Since that point to now, I actually think that stretch has probably been better for us than starting 24-1 and kind of cruising in a rhythm the way that we were early. I'm happy we played well. It obviously gave us a great cushion and positioned us well as we come down the stretch. But in terms of building the best team we can be and strengthening ourselves, improving through the season, we've had to face adversity. We've had to solve a lot of problems. We've had to be highly adaptive. We've had to draw on a lot of different players in a lot of different roles. And typically that stuff is an investment and can pay dividends down the road if you approach it the right way. Despite the outcome tonight, I'm pretty pleased with the way that we've handled those adversities. You know, we've played a very condensed schedule, most games in a month span after Christmas. We endured injuries during that time. We had a lot of ups and downs. And those things, as long as you use them as fuel and as long as you use them productively, that can be good for you, you know. And so that's our challenge. You know, the circumstances are what they are. You can't change the circumstances. You have complete control over how you manage them, how you handle them. This team's always done a great job of that. I think we've done a great job of that. And as we come down the stretch, we don't know what's coming, but we've got to continue to have that mindset.
And then what are your thoughts on just what Topic brings to your team on the floor? It's a great story, but he's a really good basketball player as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's important to remember is he played 2 very short stretches of blue minutes earlier this week. this was just like a unique pocket to get him in with our team, with very little expectations from a performance standpoint. He's in the like infant stages of returning to full game shape. What chemotherapy does to your body is really remarkable. It's crazy what it does to you physically, and so the road back from that is different for everybody, and it's highly challenging. And so if his peak athleticism is a 10 out of 10, he's not even close to that right now in terms of conditioning, athleticism, strength, all the things that does to your body. So it would be unfair to evaluate him in this context. We're just happy he got out there tonight and is on that track back. That's the most important thing. But I mean, the stuff he did, you saw the stuff coming out of the draft. Obviously lead guard, elite passer, great IQ, mature beyond his years as a basketball player, but a long road ahead of him in terms of, being fully formed again.
Go ahead. Joe's got one. Andrew, behind you.
Just to follow up on Topic, what were some of like the benchmarks he had to meet to get to this point where he's now back on the floor?
Obviously, finished chemotherapy, and then, the process, that's not an endpoint by any stretch physically. And so getting himself to a place where he was doing strength training, all of our testing with him that they do, making sure that he's in a good spot to continue his progression on the court. I'm not privy to every little detail of that, but and then working himself back in one-on-one workouts and getting his breathing going, and then building that up to one-on-one, 3-on-3, eventually 5-on-5 like this week. And like I said, if we're like in the early stages of that return to performance. He's now playing again, but it's going to take a while for him to be his full self again, just based on what he's been through. But he obviously can get some stuff done still, in the game. But yeah, it's been a road.
And I know you'd probably have Oos do that against somebody else, but just knowing him as well as you do, what would you see out of his game today?
He was great. He was great last night too. We want guys to leave here and do well. We don't want to be a program that has a reputation for leaving here and not doing well. If guys leave here and do well, that's good for us in a lot of different ways. And so we've spent a lot of time with Oos. We have a 4-year relationship with him, from our staff, teammates, everybody, and he was a great professional and did everything we asked him to do while he was here. So we want him to do well. Obviously we'd like to make him miss shots, better than we did tonight, but we're rooting for him, and he deserves that. He's a really good kid with a lot of basketball ahead of him.
How do you think this All-Star break, just with games off, could help integrate guys continuously like Topic and McCain?
Well, for like a guy like McCain, he can get his clothes from Philadelphia to start, so that's a good thing. He's been wearing the same sweatsuit for the last week. It's just letting him take a deep breath. The trade deadline is hectic, for a player that gets traded, especially unexpectedly, and so that's a quick turnaround. He's here the next day and he's playing 2 days later, and now he gets to decompress a little bit, and when he comes back, we'll all come back together as a team. He's a part of that now, so I think that's a good reprieve for him. And Tope, obviously, he played a lot of basketball this week compared to where he's been, so physically it'll be good for him. He'll continue to build up, and we'll see where he's at after break.
Anybody else?
Yep, thanks.